What is up, everyone? Welcome to round 4 of War of the Roses 2025. We got some rad decks to show you, so let's get into those deck lists. First up, we have Mark with Tax Edge. This is a format classic. Definitely sees a lot of play in X points, but does still see a decent amount of play here in just Eternal Central Old School. If you're not familiar with the list does revolve pretty much around the two cards Land Tax and Land's Edge. Land Tax helps you get extra land cards into your hand, and Land's Edge lets you discard them to deal damage to your opponent. The deck also runs several draw 7s in 2 Winds of Chains and Wheel of Fortune to help refill your hand. And beyond that, it's just a low to the ground aggro red-white deck. Plenty of low drop creatures and plenty of burn. Getting to the rest of the list, we have 4 Lightning Bolts, 3 Chain Lightnings, 4 Ithcan Javelineers, 4 Savannah Lions, 4 Black Vices to help with those draw 7s, because both do help your opponent draw 7 as well. 3 Ankh's of Mishra to help burn your opponent out whenever they choose to play their lands. 4 Disenchants, 4 Mishra's Factories, 3 Plateaus, 1 Loa, 4 Strips, 1 Rainbow Veil, which is kind of cool, and then a whole mess of mountains and plains. Sideboard, we have 1 City in the Bottle, 4 Red Elemental Blasts, 2 Blood Moons, 2 Swords, 2 Spirit Links, 3 Divine Offerings, and 1 Balance. Really fun list, and even though this one's a little bit powered up with Loa and a orb and some of that stuff, it is also just a very fun budget list, a very good intro list for people looking to get into the format. But enough about Mark's deck. Let's see who he's playing against. Next up, we have Andrew G with Blue-Red Counterburn. This is a format classic. In fact, we've already seen one deck on the channel for War of the Roses playing this, because it is honestly just a very fun list to play, and this is a really cool version of it. We do have a lot of similarities with the 4 Psionic Blasts, the 4 Serendibs, 4 Lightning Bolts, and 3 Chains. However, this list is also running for 4 Spikes, 4 Psychic Purge in the main, I mentioned before, but Portland does love its black-based decks, 1 Mana Short, 1 Brain Geyser, 1 Time Walk, and 1 Tabernacle. That's kind of wild. The list is also running 1 Fork, 2 Granite Gargoyles to round out the creature threats, a Wheel of Fortune, a Disintegrate, a Soul Ring, Chaos Orb, 2 Maze of Ith. It does have 2 pieces of power in Mox Sapphire and Mox Ruby. It does also have a Loa, 4 Volcanic Islands, 4 Mishra's Factories, 4 Strips, 3 Mountains, 1 Hammerheim, and 5 Islands. In the side, we have 4 Red Elemental Blasts, 4 Blue Elemental Blasts, 4 Control Magic, and 3 Energy Flux. This list is kind of wild, and I love it. The Psychic Purge in the main is some nasty tech. Granted, it does still just do 1 damage. That is relevant text that a lot of people do bypass, so maybe he's having in there just for the added benefit, but also being able to kill, elves and birds and that sort of thing. Very cool list to see. I'm excited to see how it plays out. So without further ado, let's get into the games. And here we go. Mark is on the left, Andrew is on the right. Now, Mark is definitely the aggressor here, but Andrew does definitely have some early answers to those threats. As I mentioned before, the Psychic Purges being specifically very good against Mark's low drop creatures. I do definitely see that 1 damage for 1 mana being extremely relevant and taking out those Ithcan Javelineers and Savannah Lions. Alright, so I think both players are going to be keeping a 7 here, and we're going to start off with a Black Vice. Bolt you immediately. Draw for turn. And Andrew deciding here how aggressive he wants to be. He's going to play out a Volcanic Island. Soul Ring. Say go. Not taking as much damage this next turn, but there's a Disenchant immediately for the Soul Ring. And Andrew going to be taking another 2. Draws for turn. Draws another Mishra's Factory. Oh wait, no, that's a... No, he does have 2 Mishras, I believe. And a Maze of Ith. I think those are his lands. And is he just passing here? Really hoping to get that Soul Ring mana to play out the Serendib that he has in hand, but instead just opt for the Chain Lightning and pass. Smart move when your opponent is showing red mana. Currently cannot play any red mana. Strip for the Volcanic here, taking Andrew off of the colors that he needs. He's going to take 1. Did draw a mountain. That is relevant. But he's going to play out a Mishra's Factory instead. Animate a Mishra's Factory, which will get disenchanted. Mark having all the answers here, despite having not drawn a third land. Okay, there we go. Third land. And is going to pass. Realizing that his land tax is probably not going to be relevant in this matchup. He's drawing all the pieces of removal he needs. All right, there's a third Mishra's Factory. There's a third disenchant. And Andrew is a little flummoxed, I'm sure. All right, 4 lands here. There's a Wheel of Fortune. Pitching a Rainbow Veil. Lots of good stuff in Andrew's hand. And that Blackfly is going to be dealing, once again, a bolt's worth of damage next turn. Can Mark do anything with this? Nope. Just gonna pass. Take 3, drops to 10. Now Andrew did draw some blue mana. Oh, he also drew a sapphire as well. Might as well play it out. There's no reason not to. You want to get as many cards out of your hand as possible. There's a strip. Animate the factory, swing in. You can't possibly have the 4th disenchant with Andrew, and it looks like he's right, especially since Mark only has 1 red open, but there could have been a bolt there. You don't know. Andrew does have the Force Spike as well, though. All right, there's a strip. 2 for an Alchemishra and another Alchemishra. Strip your factory. Yep, looks like. And once again, Andrew is in the hot seat. He's going to be taking 4 damage just to play a land. Taking 2 points off cards in hand. And does he have a way out of this? Alright, play a land, take 4. No, not 2, take 4. You're down to 4. Double Ankh, double the pain. Hopefully that gets caught, but I don't know if it's going to be relevant.
I just gonna do just a good start to slow you down. Yeah. If I'm less disruptive, I think you're coming over the top of me. I pass.
All right, passing back to Mark. Is that a Land's Edge? Looks like. Okay, there's double lion. Oh, Mark actually catching it here. Yeah, you should be down to 4. That is correct. All right, good. It did get caught, and that is relevant because those lions are lethal. And currently, Andrew does not have a red source to play that lightning bolt. Down to 2. I think that's just game. All right, we're going to do game number 2. All right, here we are in game number 2, a blisteringly fast game number 1. Mark having all the answers and all the early burn to really apply the pressure. Also now bringing in those red elemental blasts. I'm sure Scott has brought in all his blue elemental blasts as well. I don't see any in his hand though, but he does have a good grip of cards. No red source, which might be relevant. But no, we are going to... Okay, start off in a very similar fashion into a Soul Ring. And Mark gonna also start off very quickly with a Blackfly. It's not as good on the play as on the draw, but there is the blue Elemental Blast there for Andrew. And are we gonna see a Serendib as well? Yes, applying the pressure. Oh, and there's the red Elemental Blast for the Serendib. Say go. Mark keeping a 1-land hand, it looks like. Andrew not taking damage off the Vice this time. Very tempted to play out what looks like a strip. Strip that 1 red source. He is going to do that. Makes sense. Clear path for the factory. Mark with his own factory and pass. I can't tell that if that is alpha or just very beat up. That's a dumb question. It's antiquities. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But somehow you guys are stuck listening to me. Anyways, Andrew playing out a maze. Passing back to Mark. Mark playing a black vice, which is not doing much here. Passing back as well. Another factory. Okay, animate the factory that does not have summoning sickness. Swinging in for 2. And pass. Hopefully that damage gets reflected. Or he's opting to not do it. Both players playing at a very quick tempo, which is unnecessary because we are barely into this game. Okay, animate both factories this time, and we are swinging in. And, yeah. Here we go. The dice is getting updated, so that attack did happen. I'm sure I have people in the comments chewing my ear off about saying beta Mishra's factory. It looked really beat up. Okay, look at that top right corner there. That is the roundest antiquities card I've ever seen. Even though the set symbol is right there. All right, we're gonna animate the factory, pump it. It will get Divine Offering. No life gain. Past you. All right, 3 for a Blood Moon. That is good. Hoping to lock out Andrew's hand. He should take some damage here, right? Because he has 6 cards now. Yeah, he should have taken some damage. Bolt you. Hopefully it's not relevant. All right, there's a Granite Gargoyle. Mark down to 6. There's a bolt for the Granite Gargoyle. Is that double bolt in Andrew's hand? I think it is. He will gain some life here. Just 1. And Mark not updating the dice. Unfortunately. Yep. We gain 1. Up to 7. Will it be relevant? Actually, if Andrew sequences this correctly, it could be relevant. Tap a factory for... Or sorry, tap the... Yeah. Tap the maze for a bolt. Tap the factory that just came in for a bolt. Blue Elemental Blast, the Blood Moon. Animate the factory. Swing in for lethal. Right? Yep, and we're going to go to game number 3. That is a crazy play. And here we are on game number 3. That was a crazy sequence of plays from Andrew. Very heads-up play. Both players definitely playing at a very good clip. I don't know if it's nerves, practice, or what, but I do appreciate it. Even if it's hard to track for me sometimes. All right, there's a land tax to start things off. Mark finally drawing the namesake of the deck early and at a relevant time. There's a Mox Ruby. And an island. Tap the Ruby for a Soul Ring. Tap the Soul Ring and the island for a Serendib. Who needs lands when you have artifacts? Strip for the island. And say go. That Serendib going to be a constant pinger, but should put Andrew in a pretty good position. Mark does have swords, I think, in the main. I'm trying to remember the deck tech. He should. Or at the very least on the side that he should have brought in. Alright, Serendip gonna get in for 3. Andrew taking it upon himself to update Mark's dice, because Mark is keeping track on paper. Alright, there's a Granite Gargoyle and pass. Granite Gargoyle, a 2/2 flyer with fire breathing. And unfortunately not going to be sticking around. It is going to get bolted. And Mark will pass back. Take a point off the Serendib, drop to 18. There's a Force Spike, a Mishra's Factory. I think you still, yeah, you just got to keep pace with your land tax opponent. You don't need to go over. Gonna get in for 3. Down to 14. Tap 2. And we're gonna time walk. Take an extra turn. Takes our point off of the Serendib. Doesn't matter too much though, because he's getting in for 3, potentially 5 if he wants to animate that factory. I don't see why not. Yeah, I'm gonna use the Mox to animate the factory, leave the blue mana up for both Force Spike and Psychic Purge. Or, yeah. Okay, swing for 5. Down to 9. Mark having his own factory here. And has an orb too. Is gonna orb here. Or is not gonna orb here. Is gonna leave it up just in case. For a more dramatic finish. I mean, you might as well do it now, right? Your opponent could have some kind of shatter effect potentially. Not super common in Counterburn lists, but I mean it is relevant. In sideboards for sure, I would see it, but oh, okay, I see what's happening here. Andrew is going to Force Spike the cast of the orb, so the orb cannot be activated this turn. Okay, that's what's going on here. Alright, and I think Andrew really looking for a bolt or something here, but is still going to be able to get 5 in here. Take your opponent down to 4. And just hope your opponent misses the orb. Land for turn. Both players at 3 lands. Land tax does not trigger. There's another land tax. There's also a Blood Moon, I believe, in Mark's hand. Alright, we are going to be activating the orb here, it looks like. Yes, okay. Orb flip. And it misses. Oh no, that is very bad. Very bad for Mark. I think that means that's game over. I don't think he has a way to stop lethal damage. Because he can stop the Mishra's Factory, but 3 coming in the air. And are we going to see a Psychic Purge for the win? Oh, there's a bolt. And a bolt. But we're still dealing 1, right? No, it doesn't have the... Well, no, it does have the mana for it. Psychic Purge, yeah, for the win. That's going to be game. Andrew takes it down in 3. All right, who knew Psychic Purge was good for anything other than playing against decks running him? Very cool series of games. Thanks to both players for the match, and thanks to all you guys for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to like, subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel. If you want to support financially, there is also a Patreon link in the video description below. Huge shout out to the current patrons, which are visible on your screen. You guys are all amazing, and I hope you enjoy all the pre-modern and old school content I've been creating for you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.